In my last video, Joshua Maponga was against religion. Actually, in most of the videos that I normally post, it's all about Maponga and religion and spirituality. Maponga, religion, and spirituality. But now, one thing is for sure. Most people normally comment and say that Maponga should tell us his stand. Because as far as I know, Maponga is against religion and he's trying to embrace the African way of worshipping. So in this exclusive interview, where Maponga was doing an interview, he was saying that, and he was stating clearly why he is always against religion. Now, let's have a look at why Maponga is against religion, then we can come back and analyze the video further. So if it's a first time here, kindly consider liking this video and sharing to as many friends as possible. Let's have a look at what Maponga is saying, then we can come back and analyze the video further.
So what made you question religion?
Social ills, social injustice, and particularly the church's passivity and naivety on dealing with political and social transformation. We cannot be going to war and you tell people not to go to war, but when a country is free and independent, you want to enjoy the benefits of other people's children having died at war. That's not fair at all. You cannot be talking about collecting monies and sending them to lands afar to protect institutions that are sitting in America, in Loma Linda, in Walla Walla, and yet right outside your doorstep of the church as a pastor, you're collecting thousands and putting them in envelopes and sending them away. It didn't feel right to me. You cannot be looking at people suffering from diseases and there are indigenous herbs that are around, and when you touch those herbs and recommend them, they're deemed as witchcraft. And yet our forefathers have been using some of these herbs and etc. The list can go on. I can go on into fashion. I was tired of singing Amazing Grace when I discovered it was a song for the slaves. And I said, how do I celebrate Amazing Grace? How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. A wretch from what? The wretch is the man who took the song. The wretch is the man who was driving the ship. And when you throw away this, take the world, but give me Jesus. I said, no, I don't need Jesus if I don't have land. I cannot worship Jesus in a tree or on a bush or on a cloud. I need land. So how do you make me sing the song that says, take the world, but give me Jesus? Then what do I do with Jesus if I don't have an address where I can worship him? Then you begin to question all these concepts of theology, the gospel according to Matthew, the gospel according to Luke. And if it is according to, so therefore the author is not the same as according to. These are hearsays of the one who heard that it was spoken by Matthew like this, and he is now writing the gospel according to. So the authorship of the Bible, the editing of the script itself became another problem, where verses of slavery, slaves obey your masters, beat your servants and slaves as long as you don't kill them. And I'm wondering what type of a God can make another human being and gives authority to another human being to butcher, kill, rape, beat up, and just don't kill. And it looks like this remnant theology gives the Christians, particularly the Jewish Christians, permission to go around the world with those that claim to be Christians. And if you don't believe in God, then you don't have a right to land. You don't have a right to existence, because their Bible teaches them that wherever your foot will go, I will give you those places. I'll give you houses that you never built. I'll make you have many slaves. In Deuteronomy chapter 20, I don't want to start on a theological symposium. This might end up getting messy and I might get emotional, but it did not make sense to me. And I always had these questions when I was a young person in class. The teacher said, wait, you will find it in your second year. Second year came. No, in the third year, in the fourth year, when you are doing a final semester, you get this. I did my second degree. I still had questions. I went into pastoring and I still had questions. And when I started asking these questions from the pulpit, they said, no, you can't be asking those questions. It is you now who must be giving answers to those questions. Then I literally lost my marbles. I can never be bigger than the church. It's much older than me by years, by experience, and by skill. But when you start questioning certain issues and when you start questioning certain practices, interpretations, then you are bound to get in trouble, especially when you are looking at colonial religious Christian organizations which are fully baptized in Washington, D.C., and their mindset is that of an American who is operating in Africa. Surely the traditions and the cultures of America must be kept, espoused, and maintained within the African context. And those have become holy goats. You cannot challenge them. We must dress up like Americans. We must sing like Americans. We must eat like Americans, and we must behave like Americans. And when you wake up in the morning and discover, no, there is no God in being American, then you're bound to get in trouble with the status quo, which was my fate. So I found myself in direct conflict with the administration of the church. And look, I'm a third generation born in the Adventist church. I'm through and through what the Seventh-day Adventist church has produced. And when they've produced this kind of a brain and this kind of a person, and then the person comes to discuss with them with the sharp mind that you have, and you begin to question the very essence on which theology and dogma is sitting, the whole system trembles and shakes. And they train you to become the best that you can be. But when you become the best, it looks like there's no seat for the best except for those that can conform. So I am not a conformist by any chance. 33 years of my life, I spent them on the pulpit. And I don't think I've changed my message. I've just become louder, that's all. And big mouths don't make it in organizations. I found myself on the exit door faster than I thought.
One disclaimer here is, number one, for me personally, I am not against the religion. So you have the freedom to worship the way you want. My only concern is, most people who normally watch my videos, they normally say that Joshua Maponga will go to hell. I don't think that is the case, because people are free. That's what we call freedom of worshiping and freedom of speech. So you are free to worship who you want. And according to Maponga, he also has a Bible. Actually, he's saying that he is doing a Bible. As at now, which is maybe the second month of 2026, Maponga is saying that the Bible consists of almost 450 chapters. And he's saying in the next 2 years, the Bible will be released to public so that people can at least understand him well. Because his way of thinking, his way of seeing religion and viewing things, it's not in line with what Christianity as a religion advocates. And as a matter of fact, Maponga was a priest, if I'm not wrong. And if you see most of his videos, he's saying that he has been into priesthood for at least more than 3 decades. So that is a long period of time. That is a long period of time. So he's seeking answers. He was seeking answers, but he was not getting the answers. Okay? Now, it is up to you to dictate and to figure out if indeed this guy is genuine or not. But as for me, what I know is each and everyone has his or her own opinion when it comes to religion. And mind you, when we talk about religion in Africa, this thing can even make your own mother hate you 100%. And my only problem with religion is other religions normally think that they are superior as compared to others. And I am not mentioning any religion here, no. I'm just saying that other religions think that they are superior than others, which is not the case. And if we try to do that, and if we do that always, we are trying to demean God. We are trying to confine God into a smaller space. Take Christianity, for example. Christianity, we have more than a dozen denominations when it comes to Christianity. More than a dozen denominations. And out of these denominations, one denomination thinks that they are better than the others. And for that case, I normally ask myself, number one, why is it that when you go to these developed countries, they are not so much into religion? For example, if you go to the United States or the UK, churches are being closed down. Mosques are being closed down because they don't have worshippers. But if you come to Africa, it's the opposite. People are now flocking into churches, people are flocking into mosques, but at the same time, I also don't blame them because people are seeking answers to their problems. And they think that the best way and the best place to get these answers, it's in the worshiping places, which is okay. The only thing that we as Africans are doing it badly is we are focusing much into going to churches than working smart. It's as simple as that. We are focusing into going to church, worshiping, praying, and fasting rather than taking the same energy to do work and working smart. Take a good example with the Chinese. These people don't even believe in God, but you can see what they are doing in the world, developing the world. They are now the second economy in the world, and they don't believe in God. Take a look at the Japanese. They don't believe in God. They all worship their own stuffs, and they are prospering. So the thing is, I am not against religion. No. I am only saying that we have to define what we want. Because at the end of the day, we have one supernatural being called God. This supernatural being called God is the giver of life, the creator of the universe, and he has to be worshipped. Now, the only problem comes with the mode and the method of worship, because people think their way of worshiping is better than the other people's way of worshiping, which is not the case. So with this in mind, we are divided in one way or another. Compare this to the Asian countries where they don't even go to church. They believe in this the karma thing. And they are doing well. Their economies are progressing. People are inventing and innovating. Come to Africa, it's totally the opposite. I saw an interview, a documentary the other day of maybe, I think it was a prophet in Kenya, back there in Kenya. The prophet was deluding people, and people are just following him sheepishly without even asking questions. And if you look even at the comments to the documentary, people are still believing that this prophet is real, even after the documentary has exposed everything that this prophet is doing, which is unprofessional. People are still believing this prophet. That is the problem with religion. So thank you guys. If it's your first time here, kindly show me some love by liking this video. Until next time, stay tuned. Africa will be great. Africa must be great.